Welcome back, everyone. What's going on? Today we will be doing lockdown. Lockdown is a new machine released in TryHackMe. In this machine, we will be looking for submitting the user flag and the root flag. So basically, in this machine, we will be doing SQL injection. We will be using SQLMap, and we will be conducting privilege escalation on Linux system. From that point on, we will be using some techniques regarding the antiviruses and how antiviruses work. At the same time, we will be using Yara rules to get the flag and conduct privilege escalation or escalate the privileges. It may be tempting to ask, how can you escalate your privileges using antiviruses and antivirus rules, right? We're gonna see that in a while after we start a challenge. So basically, the first thing we do all the time is to do the nmap scan. So let's take this to the right and start the nmap scan. We see we have two open ports, 22 and 80. Right away, we navigate to the web server to see how the page how the page looks like, understand the structure of the page, navigate through directories, and finding points where there could be vulnerable parameters, there could be hidden pages, whatever. So let's see here. So copy the IP address. So what is that? We can connect to the server at contact tracer.thm. So we have to add that name to the host file. Sudo hosts. All right. Now only have to do here, just put enter and get this name, contact or contact tracer. Okay. But first, copy the IP address. And from here, we grab the domain name, paste it here, and save. So now let's try to navigate, and we successfully open the page. So the page is coronavirus contact tracer. Establishment code, enter establishment code, go to admin panel. So it seems like a page for tracking coronavirus related stuff. Contact tracer. Seems like it contacts or it traces those who are infected. Nice idea, by the way. So let's go to admin panel, see what is there. We have a login page. So what do we do when there is a login page? As all of you know, when there's a login page, we have two options, or actually several options, but most of the time two options. Brute force the username and password, or try SQL injection or SQL injection in the username or the password field. So how to find out? We have just to experience and see what is the field that would give error when we put something like quote log sign in incorrect username and password. Let's try in the password field. Making sure this is the code. Put here admin, sign in, incorrect username and password. How about if we type admin again and type one single quote? So we have incorrect username and password, but sometimes the error that indicates that the SQL injection is hidden, so we have to try to find it. So what we can do, we can either run perp suite or we can use curl to understand the details of the response of the server. So we type curl -x post request -d for data. So see here password equals say admin and username. See, where is the symbol? Yeah, here. And username, say equal admin, one single quote. Okay, and then let's see here. Take the page. And then type, let's see here. So the parameter here is, let's see, click on inspect elements. Make sure the parameters are correct. Form. So username, that's correct. I've got the password, that's also correct. Okay, the parameters are correct. Now let's try logging in from here. Sign in. Okay. So enter, see the response. Okay, nothing unique here. Let's try single quote in the password field. Not gonna work like that. All right. So here, let's get back to the form. I think we need to work with Purpose Suite to understand this more, to understand the behavior of the form. Or if you don't want to get into details with that, you can just try with SQL injection. Any payload would work. For example, if I try here, username, let's try single quote or 1 equal 1. And also put here one single quote. The password could be anything else, admin. Let's copy the payload in case it didn't work. And you're logged in. So how do I know it was vulnerable to SQL injection? Actually, I told you from the beginning, the login forms can be tested for brute force and SQL injection. So basically, you can try basic payloads, basic SQL injection payloads, and if one of them worked, then you don't have to run Purpose Suite and iterate through a list of payloads for SQL injection, right? So you can just try with basic payloads. If it works, it works. Doesn't work, you can just try a long list of payloads. Now for me, this payload worked and we are logged in as administrator now. That's your first milestone in this challenge, is to discover that the login form is vulnerable to SQL injection and log in as administrator. All right. Now, as you can see, this seems to be the admin panel of the coronavirus contact tracer. There are many things to just discover and find out in this portal. Now, let's head to the direct method of getting shell here. So if you go to the administrator admin, you see there is a method to upload a pic here, or let me say, a picture, image, whatever, avatar. So you can choose the file and upload it. Now, when it comes to uploading files, there is always the option to try with reverse shells. So if I type ls and go back, go to repo. I guess I need to mount that directory ls cd repo ls. All right, so now let's go back, browse for an image, go to repo, see here the reverse shell. Where is the reverse shell? Tools, PHP, and then we upload this guy. So when you upload that and I click on update, so it was successfully uploaded, right? Now, the next step is to find out where has that payload been uploaded to, where. So you have to find out the directory that contains the payload in order to navigate to the directory and trigger the payload. So basically what I want to do that is to try with, a common directory is uploads. But as you can see, you don't have access to that directory. The permissions do not allow you to access the directory, even with read permissions. So one way to try to find out the path or the complete path of the shell is to take the URL here and try with GoBuster. GoBuster is a directory search tool that finds out the hidden directories or the structure of the website. So there is a high chance that you will be able to find it in general, but not here. Here you won't be able to find that. So the upload or the file name, the complete URL for the shell cannot be found with directory search. So what do we do then? So what we're going to do here, we're going to use a unique method to find the URL of the upload page or of the shell URL. So we will use SQLMap. SQLMap contains SQL allows you to dump all of the tables of a specific database, right? Now, by uploading the tables, you will be able to find out the URLs, right? So basically, if we are able to upload, or if we are able to dump the tables of a specific database, in our case, the database of the current portal, we will be able to view all of the URLs, and also we will be able to view the upload URLs. So let's do that. Now, basically, unfortunately, I'm gonna need to use Perp Suite in order to capture a login request, send the login request to SQLMap. SQLMap will handle the rest. Since the login page is vulnerable to SQL injection, I'm gonna be able to use SQLMap to dump the credentials and everything using the login URL. So let's see here, preferences, scroll down, settings. Okay, finished. Now go to Perp Suite, click on OK. So proxy, and then let's do this. Let's open, or let's log out from here. Log out. Yeah, forward for now, no problem. Intercept is off. And now I try to log in with a failed set of credentials. So admin, turn on the intercept, login. So let's take this request, copy that from here, cd back. So nano request.txt, save that, forward for now, and now use SQLMap. So type in SQLMap -r request --batch -dbs. Our objective is to view all of the tables, the databases, and dump them. All right, so we see we have two databases, CTS-DB and information schema. Now, next step is to define which database you want to dump the tables from. In my case, I want to dump, or also your case, you have to dump the CTC or CTS DB. So here, dash dash batch, dash dash dump for dumping the credentials, and dash D for defining the database, CTS underscore DB. And then, yeah, let's see. So here we want to define, or we want to, oh my God, I don't know what to say. We have to discover the tables of this database. Once we discover the tables, we then define dash T, the option switch dash T for defining the table, and then we define what you want to dump from the table. But first, we have to find out what are the tables in this database. So basically now SQLMap will work on finding the tables for you. Now, the table that you will be interested in that we will find called users. All right, what? Users. So I'm going to skip that for saving the time and type in here dash dcts underscore db and then define the tables. All right, users. So enter. Now, SQLMap will work on fetching all of the columns of the table users. And that's what we are interested in. We want to find out the admin username and the password or the password hash. In our way in, also we can find out the tables, the URLs of the upload URLs. So we take a look at the column that we have dumped. We see the URL, right? This is the URL. And here we see a blank password and we see the administrator username. Now, what matters to us is this one, the URL of the reverse shell we have uploaded. We see it has been prefixed with a number or a random number. That's why we needed to use SQLMap in order to extract the full URL. So let's take that. No, I did paste. Let's copy that and trigger the shell. Before doing that, let's fire a listener 4545. Let's try our luck. So take this. Oh, and we got the first shell back to our machine. Now this is your first foothold. If you type ID, we are the dub data user. So if we type now Python 3-c import to make the shell more stable, pty.spawn /bin/bash. I guess we forgot something here. Okay, the single quote. So now we have more stable shell. Okay, so if you go to home, we see we have two users, Cyrus and Maxine. If we try to cat the etc password file, we see a confirmation of what we have found. We have two users, Cyrus and Maxine. And also here is the antivirus user, Clam AV, and this is the directory where it stores its signatures. So inside the HTML directory, if you go to classes, you will see there is a file called dbconnection.php. If you cat that file, you will find this set of credentials. So CTS, and this is the password. So why do I need these, by the way? I want to try if I can log in as one of the users we have found. We want to find out all the possible passwords we can use to escalate the privileges from a normal or from the dub data user to another user, such as Cyrus or Maxine. So MySQL-u cts let's specify the password then, -p -p. Okay, so the password is this one. Now we're logged in, show databases, select cts_db. So what is the problem here? Oh, okay, use cts_db. Database changed, show tables. Select now star from users. So as you can see, we found now the details of the user, right? And we see the password is sweet pandemonium. Now if you take this one and exit, clear, no clear, okay. So Cyrus, use this password, and now we're logged in as Cyrus ID. We are the Cyrus user now. So that's how we were able to escalate the privileges from dub data into the next user on the line, which was Cyrus. Now the next step is to escalate from Cyrus to root. So we try with the traditional way, sudo -l. So we can run this script as root. Let's find out what does the script does. Cat /opt/scan/scan.sh. All right. So as you can see here from the first line, it reads user input for a file or directory path and assigns the input to the target variable here. So basically, you enter your file to scan, and then it assigns the file value represented by the path to the target variable here. Okay, in the if, it checks on the target path. If it exists, it means if you provided the path, and then it checks if the file here, all right, readable by the current user, which is Cyrus. If that condition is matched or is correct, then it's gonna scan using Clam scan the target file, and then if it finds that the file is infected or malicious, it's gonna copy the file to the quarantine folder here and assigns the ownership to the user Cyrus. What does that mean? It means that if we can get the script to scan a file of our choice, copies the file to that directory and changes the ownership of the file to Cyrus, we are able to read the file, right? What could be a file that we would like to read? It is the etc shadow file, the hashes, or the flag. Now my preference is to go for or aiming for the shadow file, so we can grab the root hash and log in as the root user. But how can we now find an infected file, all right, and just make the antivirus triggers for a file and then copies the etc shadow file to the quarantine directory? All right, if you go to the documentation of the Clam scan, you can see, or the Clam antivirus, you see you can create signatures. Ah, Perp Suite, come on. Close this one. Now, why do we use Yara rules for Clam AV? So basically, Clam antivirus relies on signatures, okay, like any other antivirus, to find that a file is infected or not infected, malicious or not malicious, malicious or benign, whatever you would like to call it. So if we can create a rule in the database of the Clam AntiVirus, the rule will say that it is Yara rules, right? In Yara rules, we can define rules to look for text strings only, right? Now, our aim is to dump the root flag, okay, that's first, or to just dump the, I don't know, I'm kind of slow, right? It is to just dump the shadow file. So for that case, in order for that to happen, we would like to create a Yara rule file and place the Yara rule file in the signature database of the Clam AntiVirus. The Yara rule file will contain a condition here. Okay, the condition will be if there is a specific string. Now, in order to be able to control the etc shadow file, we have to select a string from that file and put it in the Yara rule so it triggers the antivirus for an infection, and then it will be copying the shadow file to the quarantine directory where we'll be able to control it and read its content. So let's make now a Yara rule file and place it in the signature database directory. For Clam AntiVirus, the signature database directory is in var library, and then we type Clam AV. You see here are all of these data signatures. Now let's create one. Okay, let's say nano rule dot Yara. Oh, there is no nano here. Okay, let's create one in our machine and download that to the target machine. So nano Yara.rule. No, rule.yara. Rule. So in here, type rule. Let's say flag. Then strings. So let's define the first one. F as flag, right? Equal to. Now here we select. We put the string that will trigger the antivirus to mark a file as infected. What could be the string here? No, no case sensitive, of course. Now the string must be or must exist in the file which is our target to open. So in the case of a Clam AntiVirus, we want the Clam AntiVirus to trigger an infection on a file that we want to read, because the script here will scan the file with the antivirus, and if it is infected, it will move it to the quarantine where we will be able to read it. So since we're creating a Yara root file here, in order for the file to trigger, we have to select a string that exists in the input file here. So if we want to copy the shadow file into the quarantine, the string here must be exist in the quarantine in the shadow file. One string could be the Cyrus user, because the shadow file, it contains the passwords and the hashes and the usernames. So Cyrus exists there, and then put the condition. F and close the file. Now sudo python 3-m http so we open the web server now. Let's navigate to the file wget http IP address. Okay, ifconfig the file name was rule.yara. Okay, rule.yara. So one way we download this file, if there is no wget, is to use curl. So curl my IP address, okay, slash the file name rule.yara ls failed to connect. Oh, we have to open the server. I just closed it. So now again, unfortunately I have to type it that manually. Rule.yara -o ls. So we have the rule yara file now. Now what's gonna happen here? We have to run the script now. Sudo -l. Oh, come on, the password. Where should I get the password now? Okay, here it is. So let's run the script now and select the etc shadow as a file to scan. So you can either enter it here in the input, or you can just run the script, and the script here will prompt you for the say it with me, the file. Enter path etc shadow inaccessible path. شكرا كتير. يلعندينكن على هالماشين، لعندينكن عرس. كس اختي نفضوا اللي حطها هالماشين. Inaccessible path. Maybe we have to run that as sudo. Since we can do that, let's do it. Opt scan.sh. Enter the path etc shadow. So known viruses 2, infected files 1. And as you can see, the etc shadow file has been copied to the quarantine. And of course, the ownership has been changed, and Cyrus now can read the shadow file. Now, why did this happen? Since the shadow file contains the string Cyrus, and Clam AntiVirus has a rule we wrote a while ago that contains the word Cyrus, it triggered the rule and thought that the file here is infected. So we're gonna now go to cd home Cyrus quarantine. Let me take that as a copy. ls, and we have the shadow file cat shadow, and now we have all of the hashes. Let's now take the maxine hash and try to find the password for this. Nano max hash. Now we're going to use John dash word list. That's right, raw q, and then the file is max hash. Let's see what would be the password. The password is Tirana. Now let's take that and su to the next user. Su Maxine. The password is here, sir. Enter, and now you are Maxine ID. Now let's see what Maxine can do here. Sudo -l. Okay. So we can run everything as root here. So simple as that, sudo -u root dash, oh no, yeah, -u root bash -p id the root user. Simple as that. I hope you find that helpful. Of course, you can use sudo su only, and you will also be root. So that was for today. The idea of escalating the privileges by abusing antivirus rules is cool. I liked it. That's for today's video, and see you in the next video.